I'm walking around in this sun and I'm just thinking about, wow, how the sun is not as nice to everyone. Um, the sun is not the same to everyone. And I'm walking around and I'm looking at all the people and I'm just wondering, do they know that they're Africans?
This is a world.
This is a world premiere.
This is a world.
It's like scientists have found, Lucy, whatever, that's the name of the, first, like the oldest known living fossil remains of a human being, were just found in Africa, right? So we just know at this point that humans come from Africa, and how we became the diverse beings that we are as human beings, there's all kinds of conjecture about that. But one thing that we understand is that we all came from Africa. So when we get into these conversations about, say, race, which I haven't talked about for a couple of videos now, when we talk about race, we're making stuff up because we're all a human race that came out of Africa. And then there's other conversations that I've been having with people, or ways that people have been responding to this conversation about race, saying that, there are white people that experience the same kinds of oppression as black people. First of all, there are no white people. There are no black people. We're human beings. Now, there is an ideological construct of race, right? But that's made up. So that said, we understand that there's no real thing as race, although there are very material and concrete ways that people experience their lives in very different ways based on, the race that they've been assigned or the race that they've, embraced, right? So that's not to say that there aren't different cultures. That's not to say that there aren't subtle differences in terms of our biology, in terms of our genes, for example. But, it's just really foolish to kind of continue with all that we know scientifically along these lines of, that I'm a different race than, say, this person that's just walking by, right? And who happens to be heading into the projects, right? So that's its own thing, right? But what's interesting is, regardless of these assignments that we're given, there are people who kind of embrace this idea of themselves as white, right? And there are people who embrace this idea of themselves as black. And we know that in this country, there seems to be an ideological superiority to people who are white, who embrace this idea of themselves as white. However, there are people who are embracing this idea of themselves as white who aren't really enjoying the privileges that others who claim that category, who place themselves in that category. And I'm gonna put this out there, and I hope it doesn't upset anyone, but there's a chance that you may think you're white, but you're not white. Here's what I mean. For example, if you are thinking you're white, but you're poor, you may actually not be kind of embraced as a white person. Not fully, right? So then you find yourself, because of the fact that you're poor, you find yourself being the target of police harassment. You find yourself not getting access to the same level of education as people who may be, say, middle class, right? So then there's a person who might be thinking that they're white, but they're not actually white. And I guess the idea is that your whiteness can be revoked, and it will be revoked by other people who are white, right? You can get kicked out of the white club. You can get kicked out of the white club because you weigh more or less than, white people are supposed to weigh. You can get kicked out of the white club if you aren't, say, attractive in that European sense, right? So you're walking around feeling white, and people, they call you white, but you're not living You're not living the experience of people who are white. Say you have some kind of a disability. You can have a disability and find yourself ejected from the club of whiteness, right? You can be a woman and find yourself ejected from a lot of the privileges that, say, males who are in the club of whiteness enjoy. So this idea of whiteness, we understand that it's a construct, but it's not universally bestowed on every person who thinks of themselves as white in exactly the same way. So that's just a little food for thought. That's it for this video. Like it if you like it, share, comment, subscribe. This is Reg signing off. Love yourself. Peace.